What is up YouTube, Zaris here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a breakdown of this whole entire OpTic Halo situation. Now, if you watched my previous video, you would know now that Flamesword has completely retired from competitive Halo. He is now the coach of OpTic Halo, and Maniac has now been put in as the captain of OpTic Halo. With these two major changes, a lot of questions are going to be asked, such as who's the new fourth going to be, can Maniac even be a good captain, and is Flamesword going to benefit as a coach? So I'm going to be breaking down this situation to let you guys know everything that's been happening with this OpTic Halo situation, and what could potentially happen to OpTic Halo in the future. Now, a major question that's going to be asked is going to be who's going to be the fourth for this OpTic Halo roster. We've seen with Flamesword that Flamesword acted as a bit of a leader for this team. He was the captain for the team. He usually, the players relied on him for a lot of his, experience. They asked him for advice, and he kind of just was able to handle all the pressure of competing and made it a lot significantly easier for these players to compete. With Flamesword no longer being on this team, I think it's a great opportunity for this team to take a different route when it comes to picking up a new player. I don't think this team should be looking for a leader per se, and I think they should be looking for more of a performance player, maybe someone like Stellar, Frosty, or someone that could really, provide this team with the necessary slaying power that they need to keep up with the best. We saw in PAX East that slaying-wise, OpTic Halo significantly struggles when they start playing against a lot more of the higher caliber teams. And the main reason because of this is because of, in my belief, I feel because this team slacks the talent that they need to keep up with the best slaying-wise. So I don't think they necessarily need a leader, because Nated could definitely play the role as a leader. He has so much experience as a player. Maniac's obviously the captain, and he has a lot of experience as a player. So leadership wise, I don't necessarily think they need a leader. I think they more need just a great performer that could really help this team out slaying wise. Now, another question that will be asked is how can Flamesword benefit as a coach for this team? And I think that's kind of an easy answer. This guy has so much experience under his belt, so many years of experience in competing against the best, and he knows so much about the game that it kind of makes sense that for him to retire, for him to just move on to being a coach. He's a very, very professional person, very easy to like. He doesn't really conflict with many people, and because of that, it's going to be very easy for him to kind of just let everybody know what they need to improve in, what the team needs to work on. And I actually think this position suits him better than competing, because of the simple fact that knowledge, although performance-wise he may have declined over the years, his knowledge has increased, and it's going to continue to increase because you lose your knowledge over time. Your knowledge only gets better and better and stronger. So I think as the years go by and as he gains more experience as a coach, he's just going to be overall just a better coach as the years go by. And I think right now this is the perfect opportunity for him to be a coach for this team, because this team, although they are in need of a lot of talent to go to this roster, they could still use somebody that has a lot of experience who could help them out when it comes to those important situations, when it comes to analyzing the gameplay and stuff like that. I think Flamesword could definitely benefit in a situation like that. Now, the next question is if Maniac is going to be a good captain for this team. And this is, when I found out that Flamesword automatically made Maniac the captain, I was honestly a little bit surprised. I mean, of course, Maniac deserves it considering the fact that, he's been on this team for so long, and he's the second longest member on this team. So, he's definitely deserving of the position. But I'm not too sure out of the three other players if he's the best fit as the captain. In my opinion, I felt like Nated was the best fit as captain, considering the fact that he naturally is just so much more dedicated than most other players, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get his team in the best position possible to win. So I don't know if Maniac was the best fit. Maniac, gameplay-wise, usually tends to be a little bit more quiet. He's much more of a performer than an actual leader, in my opinion. And I mean, you see it both online and LAN that he's just a quiet person, but the only difference between online and LAN is that his performance improves dramatically in LAN just because he's much more of a LAN player than an online player. But, I mean, his, vocal abilities don't really change much. He usually stays pretty quiet. He'll make not one or two callouts. He'll make a couple of callouts, when it's necessary, but you're not going to see him, calling out like crazy, giving his teammates advice and stuff like that. He really just plays his own game and, does whatever it takes for him to improve his abilities to help his team win. Another question that I've been asking myself is, what's the future going to hold for this OpTic Halo roster? With Flamesword leaving and moving on to different things within competitive Halo, the next step OpTic Halo takes could either be really good or really bad. And we obviously don't know yet what the next step OpTic Halo is going to take, because this thing just happened recently. But I think it's definitely, going to be very important that OpTic Halo makes takes a lot of time in making this decision and picking the right fourth for this team. Now, although I recommend that OpTic Halo picks up more of a performance player rather than a leader for this team as a fourth, it's really up to them, and they know better than anybody else. So I think it's very important that this team spends a lot of time, deciding who the next fourth is going to be, because I feel like the next bad decision they make could ultimately lead to the full departure of this OpTic Halo roster, which obviously hurts the Halo community significantly, because the Halo community could really use OpTic when it comes to content creation and stuff like that. So we definitely want OpTic to continue to be involved within the Halo scene, but it's unfair if, Hex continues to invest in this Halo team. The Halo team can no longer, produce for Hex. So I think it's very important that OpTic Halo really puts a lot of time into this, and these next few weeks are going to be very interesting for OpTic Halo. It's very interesting as a viewer to see how this team really reacts to Flamesword's departure, and if this team really improves or just gets a lot significantly worse with the departure of Flamesword. So I'll be looking into this significantly more, and I hope you guys are too. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to follow me on Twitter. Hope you all have a great day.